Not ready yet. You can,
Oh,
you can. John hasn't pointed at me yet. Oh, there he goes. Good morning and welcome to Vision. I'm so glad you're here with us today. Happy Thanksgiving. Let's all stand together and celebrate this time.
Supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome here.
Yay! Good morning, Vision. How is everybody? Full of turkey? Yay! Full of turkey, really? No. Okay. I just want to let you know one thing. There is absolutely nothing wrong with leftover pumpkin pie for breakfast. Don't judge me. It's so good to see you. Before we do anything else, let's pray in. I give great thanks for this morning, for the joy that is right here in this room, for each and every one of us, for those on their way, for our Vision community online, knowing that we are one. We are one not only with each other, but we are one with everything. We are one with everything, with all life everywhere. We know that God is all there is, and that God has outpictured itself, its energy, invested it in everything. So from grains of sand to planets, galaxies far away, we know all of it is the life of God. So we celebrate that, and we celebrate knowing that right in the depth of our own soul, God is there as well. Every cell, every molecule of our body just hums to the tune of the universe. We are one. We are one. We are one. And so it is. So good morning. I know I have an order of service here somewhere. Yay! Okay. I'm glad. Okay, you had a great Thanksgiving, everybody? Was it fun? Was it family? The weather was beautiful. I mean, you couldn't even ask for a nicer day. I thought it was fun. And really, the pumpkin pie, excellent, excellent. No, all right, it's not all pumpkin. Who likes something else? Come on. Sweet potato pie, what? Stuffing, what? Key lime pie. Oh my God. Who said apple? Yep, apple's my son's favorite. Yeah, just all kinds. The only one I didn't make was cherry this year. All right, well, there's always next year. How's everybody doing? Just feeling so good, so loved. Anyway, I want you to know that there are practitioners around, and they are here to pray with us so that we know the truth. Sometimes you temporarily forget it. Did you ever fall into worry? Right? Sometimes you just fall into worry about things. That's what practitioners are for. Or you fall into regret, or you fall into concern. You forget that you are one with the most powerful presence in the universe, right? We forget that we are that. So we have practitioners. These are delightful beings who have gone to school for years in the art of compassionate listening and the science of healing prayer. And they're here to pray with us and just sort of remind us of who we are. So practitioners, raise your hands, and ministers, let everybody know who and where you are. Look around the room. These are the beings of light that we go to and we get prayer. So don't leave here today without getting prayer support. For our Vision community online, we'll have our meet and greet room after, so there'll be practitioners there. You can get one-on-one prayer in a breakout room online as well. So however you would like to be served, we have prayer request forms in the bulletin. Fill one out, put your phone number on it, we'll give you a call, and we'll pray either with you on the phone or leave a prayer on your voicemail, whichever works for you. So please don't leave here without getting prayer support today. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Oh, this is the last Sunday where we're honoring Veterans Day, and Veterans Month, actually, right? So I wanted to just briefly bring your attention to a veteran that maybe you didn't know. And his name is Doris Miller. I know, they called him Dory. And Doris Miller was a United States Navy cook, 3rd class. And he was the first Black American to be awarded the Navy Cross, highest decoration for valor presented by the U.S. Navy, and the second highest by the United States after the Medal of Honor. He served aboard the battleship West Virginia, which was sunk by the Japanese during the surprise attack of Pearl Harbor. During the attack, he helped sailors who were wounded while manning an anti-aircraft machine gun for which he had no training whatsoever because he was a cook. He shot down 4 to 6 Japanese planes. His actions earned him that medal, and also the resulting publicity for Miller in the black press made him an iconic emblem for the fight for civil rights for Black Americans. In November of 1943, he was killed while serving aboard the escort carrier Liscum Bay when it was sunk by the Japanese during the Battle of Mankin. Now you know. You're very welcome. And so what we're going to do now is we are going to, let me think, I got it. I'm going to tell you about our guest packets. You know, our lovely volunteers who do all of this every single week, week in and week out, Patricia Coughlin, puts these things together for us, and we have other volunteers who hand them out. So make sure you read them, find out what's in them. But what's more important right now is this. It's the welcome on the front. We say it to remind each other. We say it to remind ourselves and for our friends at home and for all those who may be listening in for the first time. So let's say it together. You with me? Whoever you are and wherever you are welcome here. You are safe and you are loved. And now I'm turning it over to our celebration singers. Aren't they lovely? Look at those guys. Thank you so much for being here. And they're going to sing our centering song to prepare us for our 5-minute meditation. Thank you.
God's the love that I am. God's the love that I am. God's the love that I am.
morning. My daughter-in-law and I had pumpkin pie for an appetizer before dinner. My name is Ann DiNapoli, and I'm a licensed spiritual counselor here at Vision. Please take these quotations into your heart as we move into a 5-minute meditation and allow the tones of the bowl to take us into that meditation. I have 2 quotes here. The first one by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. He is happiest, be he king or peasant, who finds peace in his home. Our second quote is by Ernest Holmes, our founder. Teachers of olden times used to instruct their pupils to cross their hands over their hearts and say, "Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me," definitely teaching them as they mentally held themselves so they could be held. The memorial candle is burning for Patti Westbrook and Bev McDonald, friends of John Kirko. They made their transition in the past 2 weeks. The candle also burns for John Pritchard, ex-husband of Joel Anderson, and for Chispa, the beloved fur baby of Maria Flores. So, knowing that there is one mind, one God, knowing that there is no death, knowing in the very core of my being that there is only that transition into the higher spiral of God's life, knowing that all of the families and friends of everyone who has made their transition are remembering the joy, the love, the funny incidents, all of the good. And we know there is no replacement of any of these individuals, that we are and they are the individualized expression of that one mind. They are missed, but they are remembered with love and with joy. And I know that for this congregation, that we are growing, that we are active, that we are volunteering. I know that there's love and compassion and a welcoming environment here. I know that the music is perfect. The volunteers are wonderful. Everyone is here to remind ourselves of who we are and what we are and whose we are. And so there is a great joy, a great connection, happiness, joy, abundance, that we are a growing and prospering community, individually and collectively. And all I have to say is thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is.
So we are very thankful today to have a last-minute replacement singer who would have been our first choice anyway. So please welcome Janet Hammer.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. Orange and yellow, autumn leaves falling from the colored trees outside of your Thanksgiving feast. Family favorites in the era, time to give, time to share the love you have. It's everywhere. To love, to life, to hope, to dreams, to all whose thankful hearts you bring. Thank you for the air I breathe. Thank you for the love I need. Thank you for the joy inside of me. Oh, you give us hope, you plant the seed, you harvest every heart in need. Thank you for the love you've given me. Special people by your side, open fires and pumpkin pies, the years that catch you by surprise. The season's joy is at your door. There's so much to be grateful for, so much you have, and there is so much more. To faith, to friends, to joy, to cheer, to celebrate another year. Thank you for the air I breathe. Thank you ever need. Thank you for the joy you've given me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, for loving me. Oh, you hold me up when I can't reach. You give me strength when I'm too weak. Thank you for the love you've given me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. What a beautiful song for Thanksgiving weekend. Thank you so much. Gosh, that was gorgeous. So we are finishing up this month's theme, November's theme of Living Everyday Wonder Home, with today's talk, Home Sweet Home. Home Sweet Home. A very sentimental or ironic view of home as a wonderful place. I mean, depending on how you grew up, right? Now, the term Home Sweet Home was part of a song. It was the title of a song, first composed by Henry Bishop, with words by the American lyricist John Howard Payne. And it was first sung by Adelina Patti in the opera Clary, or The Maid of Milan. And that, excuse me, that was in 1823. You know, and I know you know the song, even though it's that old. Be it ever so humble, right? Come on, you know that's, okay, so that's the song I'm referring to. Home Sweet Home, right? Not, I know, you thought I was probably referring to Motley Crue, right? I'm on my way. You know. I was not referring to that one. But, you know, that's Home Sweet Home too, right? It is, but we're not going to go there right now. So we think of home, Home Sweet Home, right, as our residence, the physical structure, the place we return to in the evening after a long day's work, whatever. And we are at home in our physical structures. But we can be at home anywhere, right? We're at home with our extended families. We can be at home with our friends. We can be at home in our neighborhoods, right? You just drive into the neighborhood, you know everybody. You're at home there. We could be at home in our place of business. We walk in and it's like, yep, it's old home week, you know, everybody's there. We can feel at home in our state. Oh, thank you, God, I live in California, you know, right? There, you could be at home, really, in your country. We can feel at home in our spiritual, our belief system, right? You know that there have been plenty of people that have come through the doors and go, oh my God, I feel at home here at Vision, right? I feel like I found my home. Yeah, absolutely. You can feel at home anywhere, right? Because your home is within you, and that's what you have to recognize. You know, I think that we seek out our tribe, right? Our extended family, our people that we recognize as, oh yeah, we belong, right? We belong, that sense of belonging. We find those people that can relate to us, that can lift us, that can understand us and support us. Lift us in times of struggle and challenge, and celebrate with us in times of joy, right? We find these places because they are a reflection of what's inside of us, right? We always say that the universe doesn't give us stuff, the universe simply reflects back to us. So that's what it is. We find those places where we find our belonging because it's within us. And then finally, we find our home in the world. We can be comfortable wherever we are. When we are settled within ourselves, we're at home no matter where we go. We bring it with us. We carry it within us so that no matter where we are, we can feel at home. Ernest Holmes did a talk, a Thanksgiving weekend talk, actually, on November 20th, 1949, called, I don't remember, oh, here it is, Our Day of Praise, Thanksgiving. And he said this, he said, we want to find something in people and situations that will respond to us with joy and vitality. Suppose it were there all the time, and our lack of acknowledgement merely obscures it. Right? This all goes back to our consciousness. We don't recognize it, so we don't recognize it out there because we're not recognizing it in here. Right? It's there all the time. It's within us all the time. And our lack of acknowledgement simply obscures it. It's like what Ernest Holmes said about the muddy water, right? And putting the clear drops of water in the beaker, one at a time. And then pretty soon the beaker is filled with clear water and it can be seen through easily. That's what he's talking about. When we recognize what is within us, then it flows out through us and as us in the world. And that's really what this is about, right? Everything is always within us. And we must recognize it. We must awaken to it, become conscious of it. And then, when we know what we are, it can reflect back to us from the world. We look for it out there first, right? Don't we? All the self-help books and all the, gotta be a friend to have a friend and power of positive thinking and all those kinds of books. We look for it all the way, all out there. But when we do the work, when we do the inner work, we find that it's been there all along. And when we become in touch with that, we become in touch with who we are, loving and compassionate and belonging and joyous, then we start seeing it reflected around us. We search, and then when we recognize what is within us, it shows itself. It shows itself to us from outside. Same talk Ernest Holmes gave. He said, there's a divine presence at the center of things which responds to us, and it ought to be so real to us that we feel it everywhere, in everyone, and in every situation. Our starting point is to believe this, not as theory or idle dream, but as something to be recognized and entered into here and now. This has to be a practical spirituality. You have to use it. You have to know it. You have to embody it in order for it to demonstrate. Jesus practiced this, excuse me, and his life became that living miracle that all of the stories are about, right? Those stories about the miracles. His belief so filled him that it changed conditions around him. And that's what the stories are all about, isn't it? It's about teaching us to do the same thing. They used to, years and years ago, they weren't called Christians, right? There was no such thing as Christianity. So the people that followed Jesus were just called followers of the way. Followers of the way, because Jesus taught them a way to be in the world, a way to think, a way to demonstrate. And so they were called followers of the way. The loaves and fishes, right? He didn't worry about that. There's only 2 fish and 5 loaves. He didn't worry. What did he do? He went right to praise. He just, they were like, look, this is all we got. Peter was worried. Paul was worried. And Jesus just prayed it. He prayed the increase. Didn't see it. Wasn't there, right? Was still in the invisible realm. But he prayed the increase so that the invisible could become visible. That's what this is about. Knowing that everything in the physical world has a spiritual counterpart. And in that same talk, Ernest Holmes said, are you and I giving thanks and praising our increase? Are we gratefully acknowledging our good all the time? Or the good that we wish to experience? Or are we condemning the little things in our lives so that they cannot multiply in our hands? And how many times have we done that, right? We go to the details. We go to the things that we don't have instead of the things we have. What is my most predominant thought right now? Am I worried about a lack of something? Am I worried about a shortage of something? Am I concerned about how I'm going to pay a bill? Then we're sending all of our energy in the wrong direction. Am I praising my good? Am I praising the good I have yet to see? Right? That's amazing. Think about that. Am I praising the good I have yet to see? Or am I condemning the little setbacks along the way and getting all wound up in the trivial, petty? They're not trivial and petty. They're big if it's your life, right? It's important. But it's illusion. It's still the condition. Am I praising the good I have yet to see, or am I condemning the setbacks? Or am I condemning the little that I have? We were made in the image and after the likeness of the Creator. Therefore, we are creators. The whole world is our home. The whole world is our home. How can I not be filled with praise and thanksgiving for all of the good that has been gifted to us through our awareness of truth? Through our awareness of truth. We have to look around and see everything as a gift, everything as a surplus, everything as the good that Spirit has already bestowed upon us. Same talk. Ernest Holmes said, so now suppose we apply this principle to everything we're doing, to people, to situations, to our daily living, taking our central thought that the divine presence is in everything and responds to us through everything. Then there's nothing to worry about. Everything is alive and joyous and beautiful. Everything is an outpicturing of Spirit. We can praise everything when we believe that. We can praise people and family and strangers and conditions, even the conditions that we don't like the look of, right? Even the conditions we may not like the look of right now. We can still praise them. We can praise the increase of good. We can praise the spiritual truth of the situation, even if it doesn't look like we want it to. We can praise the spiritual truth of the situation, and it is free then to reveal itself. Every time we give thanks for family. We give thanks for the gifts we receive. We give thanks for the gifts we give. We give thanks for the gifts we are. We bless the friends we have. We bless the business you're in, right? We bless the business we're in. Bless your consumers. Bless your critics. That one might be a little more challenging, but you do that. Bless your expansion. Even if you don't see it yet, that's what they're saying. That's what Ernest Holmes is saying. Bless the things you do not yet see, with the feeling that moves them from the invisible to the visible realm. Ernest Holmes said it rises to meet your expectation, your faith, your conviction, and your acceptance. So isn't it great to be like, hey, what else can go right? Hey, what else can go right? Instead of thinking about all the trouble we have and all the criticism and all of the bad news and everything that we think of normally that occupies our mental energy, what if we only thought about the good and the best and the increase and the love and the joy and all of the great things that happen during the day that we don't even give a second thought to? Conditions change around us because our faith has made us whole, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about here. Just like the woman who touched the hem of the garment. In the Old Testament, right, the idea of a person's garment meant it represented his identity in the world. The garment you wore, it was a symbol for the person. It was a symbol for what he stood for. And so in one of the three Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, I don't remember which one it was. I think it was Luke. Anyway, they all tell the same story in those three Gospels, but only one of them says Jesus didn't even know that somebody touched the garment. He just knew something had changed, and he had to ask the people around him. It was like, what the heck happened, Oh, she touched, the hem of your garment. Well, that means to identify with what Jesus stood for. That's what that was about. She aligned with the presence and the power that he stood in. It had nothing to do with him and everything to do with her. She accepted the healing just by way of knowing his clarity and his presence. right? Ernest Holmes said, bless the faith within you, and it will grow. That's what she did. She aligned herself with that kind of faith, and it grows. We have nothing to lose and everything to gain by being uplifted, by being positive, by being joyous, by being filled with faith and filled with expectation of good. We are at home in this world. We belong. And belonging is an amazing thing. We belong to this world, and we belong to each other and to spirit, and as spirit in the world. And it is for us to bring forward that love and that joy that we know is the truth of us. Aren't you tired of hate and division and bigotry and violence being the loudest voice in the world? Aren't you tired of it? I'm tired of it. I am tired of it. And we have within us the ability to bring forward the love and the joy and the peace and the power which is spirit flowing through us. We belong to each other. We belong to the world. And as Spirit's own, we have a duty, really an obligation, to demonstrate the good that's within us. We are filled with good. We're filled with good. The only thing that blocks it from demonstrating in the world is our own belief system that we can't do it. We're too old, we're too sick, we don't have enough education, we're too short. No, kidding. We're too something or not enough something to do the work of spirit on earth, but we're none of those things. We're spirit. We're just spirit on earth. That's it. That's all we are. And as spirit's own, we have a duty to let that out. Let it out. It's already within us. This is why Emma Curtis Hopkins said, there is good in the world and I ought to have it. And that word ought is really important. She chose that purposefully. She chose that purposefully. It's very powerful. It means I'm obligated to. Ought, if you look it up in the dictionary, it's a moral obligation. It's a duty. There's good in the world and it's my duty to have it. Oh, think about that. It's my duty to have it. I'm not representing spirit fully if I'm not living my potential, if I'm not living the biggest and the best life that I can. That saying about if your dream scares you, good, if your dream doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. It's not big enough. God has way bigger plans in store for you. In order to live the whole full life of spirit, we are obligated. I love that. It's our duty to live it as full as spirit intends us to. It's not time to be timid. This is not the time to be timid. The gift has already been given to us, and who are we to say no? But we do a lot, don't we? We say no a lot. Oh, I can't do that. It's too much, and I'm not enough, or whatever. Well, Emma Curtis Hopkins says, forgive my lack of confidence to command the law. That's huge. Forgive my lack of confidence to command the law. You know our 5 steps of affirmative prayer, right? Recognition that God is all there is. Unification, that I and God are one. We are one. And that 3rd step, realization or declaration, some religious science churches call it declaration, because we declare the truth of us. We're not asking for God. It's not a beseeching, begging prayer. It's not, would you please? Don't hurt me too much this time, whatever. It's a declaration of the good that already exists. That 3rd step is a declaration. And when we don't do that, right, that is our sin. Our lack of confidence to command the law. We must take hold of our divine inheritance and command the law with conviction. Years ago, remember that? In fact, I put a little insert in your bulletins. Remember years ago, the prayer of Jabez became very popular in our culture. There was a book, somebody wrote a book, I can't remember who it was, but wrote a book about it, and it's a real interesting little prayer. And so I handed it out. It's in your bulletin, but it's in 1 Chronicles 4:10, and it's really interesting because it's one little prayer, and it's stuffed right there, sort of in the middle of Chronicles, 1 Chronicles, and there is nothing around it before or after. except the begetting and the getting and the godding. And all it is a list of who begot who, just a list of who's related to who. And then smack in the middle of it, there's this prayer. And then it goes right back to listing more of who's related to who. It was like weird. It's like right out of, left field. I don't know why it's there, but here it is. And it says, and Jabez, I always say it wrong, called on God of Israel, saying, "Oh, that you would bless me indeed and enlarge my territory, that your hand would be with me and that you would keep me from evil, that I may not cause pain." So God granted him what he requested. That's it. God granted him what he requested. And then it goes on to just name names after that. So there's one little prayer stuck there in the middle of nowhere. You got to look at that. That is really an affirmative prayer, what he was speaking. He wasn't asking and beseeching and pleading for a reluctant God to give him anything that anybody else wouldn't get. He was just saying, "Bless me indeed." And I love that word. That's another one, indeed. That means lots and lots, right? That's all it means. Lots of exclamation marks, if you were texting it. If I'm texting God, all the exclamation marks would be the indeed part. Bless me indeed. Enlarge my territory. All that means is, your sphere of availability, right? We teach that in religious science. Where is your sphere of availability? What do you think you can have? Enlarge it. What do you think is outside of your sphere of availability that you can't have? Because you're not rich enough, you're not successful enough, you're not this enough, you're not that enough. Whatever's on the outside of that sphere of availability, that's what he's saying. Enlarge that. So whatever's outside is now inside, that I can experience. That your hand would be with me. And hand in the Bible is like word. It's like plan, right? So that we're guided and directed always by this higher self. And that you would keep me from evil. And we know, again, evil is mistake. Evil is an error. Evil is thinking you're doing it all by yourself. That's like the biggest sin I think we can commit, right? Is the sin of ego. I did it. I did that. I made this happen. No, God does it all through us. So that's evil. The other evil is what? Wanting something for myself I don't want for him, or I don't want for her. I want it, but they don't deserve it. That's another evil. So keep me from evil. Keep me from the false thoughts that I'm something, God loves everyone, but I'm his favorite. Keeps us from that, so that I may not cause pain. Pain to myself, pain to others, through my thoughtlessness, through my ego self, through my belief that some people deserve and some people don't, that God does not give to all alike. All of those false thoughts that can cause pain to ourselves and pain to others. So God granted his request. That was it. It's like easy schmeezy. God granted his request. That's an affirmation. That's an affirmative prayer. Yeah, it didn't have the 5 steps. It didn't go in order like we teach them. But so what? That was an affirmative prayer. It is surrendering. Do you love it? It is surrendering to the bigness of his life. Expand my territory. Give me influence. Let me do good wherever I can. Big stuff. It wasn't about, give me a Cadillac or maybe a chariot in those days. I don't know what it would be. But you know what I mean? He wasn't asking for a bigger horse or a bigger house. He was asking to just let me live this bigger life that God wants me to live. Let me just expand my consciousness in all directions. It wasn't about stuff. It was about life. Surrendering to the bigness that we are and taking on the role of the Christ consciousness in the world. We're big enough to do that. Jesus said himself, right? These things and more you will do, because I'm out of here. He didn't say it exactly like that, but I'm paraphrasing. But think about that. That's our charge. That's our obligation, right? That's our obligation, to live the biggest life we can, to live the Christ consciousness in the world, to be that light. Be that light. Very similar, the prayer of Jabez is very similar to Emma Curtis Hopkins' declaration, and she taught this. She taught it to everybody. She said, "Rise up, O my soul, and heal the sick wherever I walk." Heal the sick wherever I walk. Show people how to be strong. Make people love God and quicken me with the heavenly fervor and show me the finished kingdom through which we walk. The finished kingdom. This is our job. This is our obligation. And she goes on to say, give me the words that will make the world glad and sane. And when you surrender to that Christ consciousness within us, when we surrender to that, that's what we do. We speak just the right words to just the right people at just the right time to make them glad and sane. Heal the sick. You know what that's like. You've done it. I'm sure you've done it when you've sat with someone who is in despair and you raise them up. You raise the dead. That's what you do. When you give hope to someone who's sitting with you and is hopeless, and you talk and you provide the view of spirit on earth, of heaven on earth, and you give hope to the hopeless, you're raising the dead. You're healing the sick. Both these prayers are saying the same thing to us. They're saying, be big. Don't be afraid anymore. Be big. Take up this power. Hurt none and help all. That's it. Be the light of the world. Be it. Say yes to it. It's in you. You know it's there. You let it out. You give glimpses of it every now and then, don't you? And then you shut that you shut that stuff down right away because it's frightening. It's scary. Let it out. Let out the power. Let out the presence. Let out the Christ consciousness that you are and heal your part of the world. It's calling for us to do that. The world is calling us to do that. Ernest Holmes, same talk, that Thanksgiving, said this. And this will have a very interesting effect on your personality. You will find a new lightness coming into your step, a new sense of joy into your mind, and a growing, deep, and abiding conviction that God really is in its heaven, and its heaven is wherever you happen to be. Welcome home, dear ones. This is your home. Bless you.
So the devil went to God and said, oh, Job would fall apart if you would take away his fortune. Let me put him to the test. Soon poor Job had lost his health and wealth and all the rest. And as his troubles added up, he fell down on his knees. And he said, Lord, I still got one thing, and that's your love for me. You got to count your blessings. You find one if you try. Count on the Lord and watch those blessings multiply. Those might have, could have, should have been are nothing but distressing. When you're down and out, it's time to count your blessings. Go through hard times when you fall into despair. Remember, you're surrounded by his blessings everywhere. It's in a neighbor's helping hand or in the sunshine, humble smile. One blessing leads to one more. You'll be counted for a while. It's best to look at what you have, forget what you have not, and just learn a lesson from old Job. Give thanks for what you got. You got to count your blessings. You find one if you try. Count on the Lord and watch those blessings multiply. Those might have, could have, should have been are nothing but distressing. When you're down and out, it's time to count your blessings. One divine spirit, one perfect love, one holy presence, one is enough. You got to count your blessings. You find one if you try. Count on the Lord and watch those blessings multiply. Those might have, could have, should have been are nothing but distressing. When you're down and out, it's time to count your blessings. Yeah, just count your blessings. Oh yeah, count your blessings. Name them one by one. Yeah, well, count your blessings. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. That is awesome. Thank you so much. Gosh, you got to love it. Yeah, good Lord. Great band. Woohoo. Thank you so much. So this is time for our conscious circulation. If you are choosing to give today, thank you. The Core Council thanks you. Through me, I'm thanking you. They're thanking you. Everybody thanks you. We thank each other. This is the place where we give back to. If this is your spiritual home, if you're nourished here, this is the place to give back to. So thank you. Let's pray. I give great thanks for the good circulating through this community. I know that it is a divine idea in the mind of God. Vision is a divine idea in the mind of God, and as such, it grows, it thrives, it loves, it is joyous. It is whole, perfect, and complete, just like any divine idea in the mind of God. I know that we are here to support each other, to know the truth for each other and for ourselves, and I know that we do this so well. I give great thanks for all of the good that circulates through this community in the form of tithes and talents and treasures and time that is spent, dedicated and committed to this wonderful spiritual community. So it is with thanks that we simply give and receive and stay in the flow. And so it is.
So it is. For the faith within me growing, for abundance overflowing, to the one who is all-knowing, I give thanks. For the storms that we have weathered, for a good that lives forever, let us harvest it together and give thanks. For
that. So now it's time for a Miracle Minute, and we have a few. Paul from the bookstore, his phone died, and he had to go get a new one. And just had that little thought the last time it happened. Do you do that? I do that, right? We know that principle is not bound by precedent, but as soon as we have to enter into a situation we've entered into before, and it was a miserable experience, we kind of go back there and go, oh, I got to do that again, But he went to prayer instead. So isn't that lovely? And he said he went into the store, and the gentleman was just wonderful and helped him and sat down with him and took all the time in the world and showed him how to do that, which was different from his first experience of, no, I don't have time, just figure it out yourself. Retail help. Anyway, he got it. He sat down, and it was like wonderful. It was a great experience. He learned everything about it before he even left. So that is a miracle. And I want to share with you that my daughter and her husband were looking for a house to buy, looking and looking and looking. And they finally found one that they really, really liked. They put in an offer, and then she called me for prayer. Yay! I love that. I just love that. And I sent it off to the practitioners too. It's just like easy, effortless, right house, right price, right time. And and they opened escrow, and it should be done by December 14th. Yay. So thank you to all the practitioners who helped just know the truth for her and her husband. Yay. Okay, and so now it is time. Remember, bring those to my attention, those demonstrations of answered prayer, so that I can share them with the group. I love it. It gives us motivation, doesn't it, to continue to sit back on our meditation cushions and just know the truth for ourselves. And right now, it is time for the last word by Johnny Kirko.
Every day this week I'm coming up, and I'm going to have these guys introduce it. This is good stuff. Hello, everybody online. We still have our meet and greet right after our celebration. Join us for one-on-one prayer, as well as a group and of community out about in the world. Join us for that. There's links available on the website, as well as right here on Facebook. So right after our celebration today, we're decorating our sanctuary and our space here. If you want to stick around and help us, we'd love to have you do it. We're going to put our tree up and all the Christmas stuff, so that would be wonderful if you could do that for us. Congregational food. So we're still doing, every Sunday, we have a meal here after our celebration. And if you'd like to be a part of that and join and bring food, there's a sign-up sheet in the foyer over there. And tell us what you're going to be bringing the next week so we know what to expect. And if you want to help us do tables and all kinds of stuff like that, we'd appreciate that. Want to give a big shout out and thank you for everybody who was part of the Thanksgiving dinner on Thursday. Thank you, that group. The Coffee Connection rocked it. We had someone who made the turkey, and then everybody brought food and put together this whole space. It was really beautiful. Nicely done, you guys. Thank you for all of that support. We are still collecting canned goods and non-perishables in the Feeding America boxes you'll find all over the sanctuary inside in the center here. So if you want to bring those, Reverend Sam's going to be bringing those here soon for this time, and then through the month of December we're going to be collecting them again. So keep bringing those goodies for us. So this Thursday, the Folky Monkey is back right in this space here. We have Joe Rathburn, Peter Boland, and they're doing the music of John Denver. Gonna be a fantastic concert. Join us for that. There's tickets available on the website, as also on joerathburn.com. We start at 7 p.m. Good stuff. Also, we're having a concert on Saturday night. Eve Sellis is going to be here in the room. She's going to have a full band. Going to be a great concert. That starts at 7 p.m. right here at Vision. Join us for that. Want to mention a couple other concerts we're doing here in the holiday season. We got a lot going on, guys, so we're going to have you celebrate with us, and we're going to celebrate with you. First, Donnell and his big band is going to be right here in this space. That Christmas show is going to be rocking. We have 12-piece band that's going to be up here on the stage. Donnell and a bunch of people singing with them. Andy Anderson's one. Join us for that. There's tickets available in the bookstore, in the resource center, also online. This is going to be a fantastic concert. And also Andy and Nathan. Andy will be there on the 8th. So we have the 8th, which is a Thursday, Andy and Nathan, and we have Donnell on the 12th, which is a Monday night. Also want to mention to you, the bookstore and the Resource Center has all kinds of Christmas and holiday goodies to go ahead and give out to your friends and neighbors and people that you love. Good kinds of knickknacks and stocking stuffers available in there. Want to talk to you a little bit real quick. Rich Poser, who is our board secretary, and he wants to talk real quick about our qualified charitable donations.
Love being the last thing before lunch. So those generous donations that you either put in online or you put into the basket a few minutes ago, how would you like to get a 100% tax relief on that? And even better than a deduction, how would you like it to come off your adjusted gross income, which for many of us determines premium benefit amounts for Medicare? So I have 4 questions for you. Are you over 70 years old and withdrawing from an IRA, either voluntarily or with a required minimal distribution? Do you want a full tax benefit in addition to any itemized or standard deduction you might take? Do you want to reduce your adjusted gross income? And do you want to benefit both yourself and Vision CSL? If you answered yes to that, see me at the back of the room after the service, and I'll describe what a charitable donation looks like. And if you're online, you can go to Donations tab on the Vision website and hit that button, and you'll get all the information from there and make arrangements for one of us here to get in touch with you to see how that begins. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Rich. And if all that accounting work makes your eyes all glassy, come see us after our celebration. I'd like to talk to you guys a little bit about that. It's all about IRAs and stuff like that. So good stuff. Thank you, Rich, for that. I love the guys who are the accounting people in the background. They do all the work and they do it quietly. Thank you, Rich. Next week, Reverend Patti Paris will be back. Her talk title is Supporting Each Other. Yes, and we have Joe Rathburn who's going to be singing with us. So join us. We miss you guys who are online. If you can come in and be a part of us, love to have you. It's the holiday season. We're going to have this place decorated and ready to go. Thanks a lot.
My sister watches online. Hi, Kath. And she said, well, you forgot to tell them the house is only 5 minutes away from you, too. So, yay, the house is only 5 minutes away from me. Yay, yay me. Oh, my gosh. Okay, we're going to stand up, and we're going to say our affirmations. We're going to say them just in the power and presence of who and what we are, knowing that the truth flows through us easily and effortlessly, and it demonstrates around us changing the conditions of our lives. And we're going to say this. Good deal. We're going to say this right now. You with me? You ready? Here we go. My home is a happy place to be. Pleasant experiences fill every room. I welcome miracles into my life, my home, and my experience. We're going to say number 3 again. I want to hear the energy behind that one. It's lovely. One more time. I welcome miracles into my life, my home, and my experience. Oh, absolutely. Going within one more time here this morning, knowing that God is all there is, that there is only one life, one energy that makes itself known as all physical appearance everywhere. It is manifest in the entire universe, but we know behind the diversity of all life stands the one life of God's. It is whole and perfect and complete, and it infuses itself into everything that there is. I give great thanks for this day, for everyone here, for this celebration, knowing and acknowledging who we are and whose we are. And so it is. Amen.
I am the peace of God in this world, the presence of Spirit's grace.